Hello everyone and welcome to the 31st episode of CSS tutorial series, Flexbox. With the help of Flexbox, you can design flexible and responsive layout structure without using float or positioning. Let me give you an example of a Flexbox. For this whole CSS series, I've been using Visual Studio Code as my code editor. And if you need to learn more about VS Code, you can watch my VS based videos and find the links in the description below. Here we have a couple of files, index.html and style.css, and let me add here basic template of HTML, and this is done by, if you're using Visual Studio Code, this is done by EMMET. And if you need to learn about EMMET provides you abbreviations, and with the help of these abbreviations you can make your coding fast. So let me open this page in a browser, and I'm also using this nicer extension, and with the help of this extension you do not need to save your source document as you make changes to your web page. And this is what we have inside index.html. Let's add our CSS here first with the link tag and this third option, style.css, and let's call this document code. Let's call it CSS tutorial Flexbox, and here I'm gonna add a couple of divs. First of all, I'm gonna add, let me lowercase flex container, and inside flex container I'm gonna add a couple of divs, say 3 divs, or let's add classes as well. Dot items, or say item, and let's add numbers, and I'm gonna add 3 items with numbers. Alright, so this is what we have right now. Let me keep both of them side by side. Alright, that's perfect. So let's come to our style.css and copy this class from here and add it here. And first of all, let's make your container flex by adding this property, display property set to flex. And I'm also gonna add background color here, and the color would be #00 BDFE. It's safe, and that's the color of our container. And I'm also gonna add some padding here, say 10 pixels. Alright, that looks good. Now let's add some styling to our elements. Dot flex container, all of its divs, and let's give it a background color, say D8F2FF. Hit save, and that looks perfect. Now I'm also gonna add margin, say 10 pixels. Alright, and some width, say 100 pixels, and height 100 pixels. And I'm also gonna center, text align center. Alright, so this is our first flex container with items. To start using Flexbox, you need to first define a flex container, and these are 3 flex items. Now let's discuss about some of the flex containers properties. First of all, the flex direction. You can have a flex direction whether column or a row, and this is the default direction of the flex container, which is row. And if you want to have column, you can add flex direction column, hit save, and this is column now. Or you can use column reverse, hit save, it has reversed the items 3 to 1. Or you can make it row. By the way, row is the default flex direction. Or you can also choose from row reverse, hit save, and now our items are starting from right to left, 1, 2 and 3. So let's comment this for now, and then I'm gonna add a couple of more items here, hit save, and this is what we have right now. And now if I resize the browser, you see it's shrinking or increasing or growing the size. So if you want them within the container, you can add a property here, flex wrap to wrap, save, and this is what we have. Now if we decrease the size, if the items don't fit within this container, they go to the next line. That's about flex wrap. Now let me reset it. Alright, now if you want to align your items, or if you want to center your items, you can use, by the way, one thing to remember, if your main axis is horizontal, which in this case is, you will need to use justify content and make it center. Whereas on the cross axis, which in this case vertical axis, let me add some height here, 100 pixels, or say 400 pixels. Alright, and now if you wanna center your elements vertically, or on this axis, vertical axis, top to bottom, this is considered as cross axis. And to center or align your items on cross axis, you need to use align items center, hit save. Or if you want to put your items this bottom right corner, just make both of them flex end, and this one also flex end, hit save. Now say if your flex direction is column, let's uncomment this, and I'm gonna make my main axis to column, hit save, and for now I'm gonna comment this out. So now your main axis is vertical axis. So to center your items on vertical axis, let me increase the height 500 pixels. Alright, now to align your items vertically, you need to use justify content, and let's set this to flex end, and this is end. Now if you wanna align your items horizontally, now main axis is column and cross axis is this x-axis, Now you need to use align items, which is again flex send. Hit save and it sends the items to the right. Now let's make both of them center. Alright, now let me comment this out and align items as well, and I'm gonna make this. Alright, let's turn this off for now. Now we have and I'm also gonna remove the height for now, or turn it off for now, or comment this out for now. Now let's clean this. Alright, now if you wanna, now we have this remaining space, and if you wanna divide this remaining space evenly between these elements, we can do that just by justify content, and we have various values here: space around, between, and evenly. So if I click between and save, the remaining space is divided evenly between these elements. Or if you want to divide this space evenly before and after all of these elements, you can change it to evenly. Or we also have another option, which is around. Hit save. Now the remaining space is divided around these elements at the beginning or ending of each of the elements. Now if I increase the size, you must notice that this space is smaller than this space. Apparently it does, but technically the space is evenly divided and put before and after each of the divs. So this is the space before this element, and this is the space after this element, and this is the space before this second element, and this is the space after this second element. Or let's say if I increase, yes, this is item 2. Now let's increase the size dot item 2, and I'm gonna increase its font size, say 50 pixels. And if you notice that these items are not aligned anymore, and if you want to align these items on their baseline, you can do that just by justify content, just by adding another property, which is align items on baseline. Hit save, and all of these items are aligned on their baseline. Now let me comment this out and this as well. Now if you want to perfectly center this text within this div, what you can do is just come in here and make each of divs a flexbox by adding here display property and set it as flex, save, and let's add justify content to center, and also align items to center. Hit save, and the text is also center aligned. Now let's discuss about some of our child element properties. Say if you want to make changes to the order of these elements or items, what you can do, I'm just gonna copy these. Let's make it 1. This is second item, and this is third item. And I'm also gonna add here a property, say order, and let's if you wanna send this third item to this first place, Let's make it 1 and let's send it to the second place and this second to the third place. And with this property you can change the order of your items. And now if I reduce or increase the size of our browser, the elements don't shrink or grow, and you can make them grow or shrink with the property flex grow. And let's do that. Let's add a property here, flex grow, and set it to 1. Hit save. And now if I increase the size of our browser, our elements start to grow and they also shrinks. And if you wanna make this second item to grow as fast as 8 times, so you can change its value to 8, hit save. Now you notice that this item is 8 times larger than rest of the two, and if I increase it, it increases 8 times faster as well. Now we have another property which is, now let's comment this property out, save. And now if I'm also gonna wrap this, comment this wrap property. And now our elements are shrinking. Let's make the width to say 200 pixels. And let's start. Now if I reduce the size of our browser, you see that this element number 1 and 3 are shrinking, whereas the element number 2 is not shrinking because we have set its flexion properties value to 0. Or if you want to set the initial length of any of the items, say 300 or 200 pixels, you can do that. Let's make it 100 pixels. And I'm gonna add a property here, flex basis. Let's make it to 300 pixels. Now our second item is 300 pixels wide, whereas our other two items are 100 pixels wide. Now let's add a height to our container, say 500 pixels, hit save. And I'm gonna center all of these elements with the property justify content center. Let's comment these guys out, and I'm also gonna add another property here, align items to center. Alright, now if you wanna align this item here on the top, you can do that just by getting back to your items and add a property here, align self, and let's make it start, flex start, hit save, and it's at the top. Or if you wanna send it to the end, you can send it to the end as well by setting align self property to the flex end. Now let's make this div responsive by, I'm gonna clean it a bit Alright, and I'm also gonna remove these properties from here and these properties from here as well. Alright, and let's make the width to say 100%, and I'm also gonna remove the margin, and I'm gonna add here border of 1 pixel, solid, say gray, and this is what we have right now. Now let's say if you want to create a 2 or more column layout for most screen sizes and 1 column layout for a small screen size such as phones or tablets, just come in here and add a media query at media, and let's add here, say, let me turn on our devtools. By the way, if you need to learn more about this devtools, you can watch my devtool based series and find the links in the description below. Let's now you can see the size of your browser, say 617 pixels. Say if you want to keep this layout up to 425 and below that you want to stock them, so just set max width here, say 425. So up to 425 or below our flex container, the direction of this flex container, say flex direction, will be column. Hit save. Now if I reduce the size of our browser and as it passes 425, it does not make any change. Sorry, I forgot to add here the unit pixels. Hit save. Now if I reduce the size, your elements get stuck. And that was all about Flexbox. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.